Journaling, self-reflection, prioritizing yourself enough to take 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes before bed, writing down all those thoughts that are racing in your mind, analyzing where is the fear, where did this fear originate from, and if this fear were not here, what would be holding me back? That's empowerment. This video is going to be about journaling and different phases of your self-actualization, self-mastery, being completely recovered from an eating disorder, overcoming mental health issues, just feeling secure in your own body can be achieved through little sessions of journaling, working with a therapist to help talk you through the root cause, tracing things back. I was recently listening to a podcast and a gentleman was talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I wanted to take time to be myself by just showing you an example of how I self-reflect and how I'm able to take things back to the very, very core start of things I've experienced and where potentially it's caused me to self-soothe through eating or numbing myself out by not eating or over-exercising or running away from a relationship or allowing someone to abuse me in a relationship. And it all has links back to childhood experiences. And when you really understand that, it no longer scares you. You become very empowered. And then you actually can be an amazing person that you have everything you need and all you have left is to give back in the world. So this is my sketchbook. I just got it. It's actually for fun events that Dave and I plan, like bike riding tours, wineries around the world, and a big Halloween bash party that we're planning with friends. But I thought I would go ahead and sketch out Maslow's triangle, or the hierarchy of needs. And I do want to apologize. Well, I don't want to apologize because she's so adorable. Morgan, our little bulldog, is over on that side of the couch. So if you hear random snoring or licking, obviously you won't see me. It's just Morgan. I'll show you a photo later. So I drew out the triangle. What really registered in my mind when I was listening to that podcast was that bottom layer, the base core foundation of your needs. Food. Ding, 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 ding. So I've pretty much been neglecting and abusing my body. Not that I did it on purpose. I didn't know better. If you know better, you do better. But with an eating disorder, you're chronically in a state of semi-malnutrition, starvation, fear, anxiety. So if food is one of the basic needs and I didn't have that stable and in place, then how in the world could I be stable in any other area of my life? It just was enlightening. Food, water, warmth, and rest. So those are part of the basic needs. The next tier up is safety needs, a sense of security and safety. And then the physiological needs is the third tier, which includes belongingness and love, esteem needs, such as prestige, feeling of accomplishment. And then finally at the top is self-fulfillment needs, where your self-actualization, achieving one's full potential and creative activities. I thought this is so true. When I really just took a few minutes as I was listening to reflect, I thought, oh my gosh, those are all the areas that if I've not already grown through, that I am kind of in the phase of, what's my purpose? What is my creativity? What is that new hobby? And I do feel that I'm very much at this tip, but I will say for a very long time, my core was not even in place. And imagine pouring concrete. and it's wet and you step in it, it's not solid yet. I feel like, in a good analogy, when you have an eating disorder, which typically does have a comorbidity of a mental health disorder, you're going through life walking through this wet concrete. You feel like you're getting stuck, and the ground that you walk on is never stable. So you're emotionally like this. So what I will suggest is taking time to be so brave, to get your nourishment balanced, give your body what it needs, hydration, warmth, and making sure that you're resting, because the body cannot heal and even know how to have a very authentic opinion in life if these things are not in place. So I'm just going to turn my focus as if the camera's not recording and I'm not necessarily teaching, but I'm just reflecting as if it were morning time and I had this on my mind and I wanted to journal it out. Or a Sunday afternoon. Oh, so the first thing I would be thinking is, holy cow, I've not even had my basic needs in place for years and years, struggling with just feeling safe in my own body and feeling like a normal person, like a happy-go-lucky girl, just feeling like a prisoner in my body, a prisoner of my mind. And maybe if I had been brave enough just to eat kind of a normal pattern of 3 well-balanced meals, maybe a lot of those other issues would naturally balance out, if that's kind of how the hierarchy of the body needs is designed. Rest I could also kind of reflect on. There were so many times when I would spend hours at the gym. I would spend 1 hour on the treadmill, 1 hour on the elliptical, 30 minutes on the stair climber, 30 minutes on the bike. And if I did not do that routine every night after school, I thought, for sure, I'm going to gain weight. For sure, I'm not going to be that beautiful person and be accepted. Crazy, right? Water is kind of a tricky thing. I feel like that needs to be its own video, but when your body does not have the balance of nutrition it needs and you're chronically in a phase of fear and battling your own body, your adrenaline is constantly going, and it can cause issues with hydration and constantly feeling like you're thirsty or just being imbalanced in your blood sugars. So it's interesting that when food and water, warmth and rest are all balanced at your most basic needs, then you're supposed to be able to actually be a human from there. Safety needs, security, safety. So I just start to think about how I've been in so many relationships where I was drawn to them because they seemed so confident, secure, and like they would provide a sense of safety for me. And I didn't use those words at all in my mind. Of course, I was so young. I was just like, oh, he's handsome. Oh, he's fun. Oh, he makes good money. We can have a good life together. We'll get to travel together. Maybe I can be a mom and I can feel secure. Like very simple young woman thoughts. But as you go through life and you realize there's lots of layers of psychology behind all of this, and humans can't really provide a level of security for you. Maybe certain people provide that more readily, but you're supposed to provide all those needs for yourself. And I can think about how I always have a little fear of money. When I was growing up, it was constantly something that my parents fought about. It's like every night or every other night I'd hear my mom screaming, when's the last time you checked your bank account? And my dad would be like, I don't know how to do that. And it was just like crazy, arguing about money, screaming and arguing every night. And I can remember finally being in a relationship with someone that kind of taught me, work really hard, save your money, and I was able to buy my own house. And even though I was making so much money that I could afford my own car, my own house, I still always had this little fear, this insecurity of like, it's not enough, it's not enough money. I don't feel safe, I don't feel secure. And it's interesting to me because potentially a part of that need to feel safe, that I do have enough money, maybe that fear would have been better adapted to if the base of this foundation was in place, which it wasn't at that point. I was still struggling very much with my eating and exercise issues. Belongingness and love. When my parents' divorce first started, it would be impossible for me then to understand the gravity of what this belongingness and love truly means. But it's interesting that this is actually a hierarchy listed as a psychological need. There's been times when I was in 5th grade and I was called fat, and I didn't really even understand emotionally. It didn't really register too tough with me at that point because I was like, I don't know, what do you mean? Like, I'm kind of chubby. My family loves me. My sister thinks I'm great. You called me fat. Okay. So it really didn't have a lot of depth to it at that first encounter. And then as I grew into my teen years and people, boys start dating girls, and I started to realize now there's actually another layer of depth to this. And then when I was a cheerleader, we have to wear these little crop tops. Okay, so here's another third layer of, this belongingness and being accepted. Maybe I'm not okay how I look and I have to change my body. And then love. I had David and I, at our kind of anniversary a year ago, I wrote down fruits of the Spirit of God: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faith, gentleness, and self-control. And I challenged him to take the word love and write his own word, what would be equivalent in his mind. And then same thing with joy. If he could pick one word or maybe a couple words to describe joy, what would that be for him? And I believe we both wrote unconditional. No, David said complete when he said love. He said when he has me in his life, he feels complete. And I said, to me, the word love is unconditional. And I think it's interesting because a lot of times when my parents went through their divorce, of course it really, really upset me, but I was so happy for my mom because I saw her being abused and so sad, and just like she wasn't living a life that brought her joy. And I accepted it and I supported her. I supported both of them for the best that I knew how to at that age. But now as an adult, and I see so much mental health challenges in our world, and I understand the struggle in my own terms, it's almost as if I had to think, I kind of judged my parents a little bit that they did separate and they did divorce, because to me it's like that's not unconditional love. If you truly love someone, you love them for their flaws, for their challenges. If they express themselves in different ways, just because someone is verbal with their emotions, does that mean that they're wrong or right? Or is it more emotionally intelligent and more grounded of a person to say, you don't scare me, you're not wrong or right, we are the same, you just are struggling so much and you don't have the tools you need to self-soothe before those emotions have to be projected out. And then I just recently heard, where was it? I think it was, I'm gonna laugh. That feels, I feel wrong saying that, not laugh, but Paris Hilton had her documentary, and the mother of Paris Hilton mentioned, oh no, it was Demi Lovato's documentary. I watched Paris Hilton's, then I watched Demi Lovato's. And she struggled with bipolar and drugs and alcohol to kind of self-soothe from her emotions. And she was in a relationship, and they were saying, like, how long do you stay with someone? And I loved what they said. They said, you keep staying with someone that's struggling until they stop trying. So in a way, I want to say that my opinion on love is finding someone that has a heart of gold. And even if they are struggling, and it seems crazy sometimes what they do, the way that their emotions take over them, the way that they react, provide them unconditional love, treat them just like you would treat anyone else that is a human. But if they stop trying to help themselves, stop trying to get better, stop telling you, that's not really me, I'm struggling, I want to get better, I'm doing my best, I will get better, I'm not perfect, but I'm trying. If they stop telling you that they want to get better, they're aware that they have some imbalances, then for your own health, then it's probably a good idea to get out of that relationship. That was important for me to hear, because I was still struggling. If you can love someone unconditionally, why would my mom not stay with my dad? Even if he hit her, is that wrong? I mean, yes, duh, it's wrong to hit a human being, but he's still a human. He still had a heart. He still loved my mom and me and my sister. But he's so challenged emotionally that he couldn't hold back physically harming my mom. So in a way, hearing that podcast gave me some good closure and helped me formulate my own opinion that it's great to love someone unconditionally, no matter if the roller coaster is like this, but as soon as they stop trying to get better, then you almost have to respect yourself and protect yourself and move on to someone that has a heart of gold and is brave enough to fight to get better so that they can love you in a way that honors you and their self. Esteem needs. So the fourth tier of psychological needs is prestige and feeling of accomplishment. I don't know, prestige I feel like is a nice word because it's not proud, but it's similar. But it sounds like I'm proud, but I'm also humble. And I think it can be so easy, like my other video, to wear a mask in life where, oh, I'm so grandiose and my life is so wonderful. I have the great job. I have the beautiful wife and I make good money and I have my friends and I drive the flashy cars and I am just so important, right? So the ego, the pride, I'm proud. And over this past, I don't know, 6 months maybe, I really felt like I've stripped away every potential way of having an ego, and I was just naked. And I was raw, and I just thought, like, what do I really need? Everyone's told me what I need to be accepted, from the job, the house, the car you drive, the way you look, if your nails are painted or not. You know, and I used an analogy in another video, being a janitor. So who's to say that if you took a spaceship to another planet and no one knew a doctor versus a lawyer versus a janitor, and you just actually judged someone's worth or value based upon the energy that the two beings shared, And let's just say when you interacted with the janitor, there was support. There was a river you couldn't get across, and they helped you get across the river. They gave you the shirt off their back. They helped you get through this new land and get food for you and your family. So that's the janitor. And then you come across the doctor, and you come to that raging river, and the doctor's like, see ya, I got my boat. And they scoot across the river, and you're just left behind. And then you come across the lawyer. So the lawyer's like, you can hop on my boat. Cool. So you get across the river, and then you start walking. You're like, hey, do you know like food? I'm new here. I need to get some dinner for my family. And the lawyer's like, yeah, kind of just down that way. You'll figure it out. So would you say that that janitor is the most valuable to this existence as humans in this new world? The doctor or the lawyer? And if you had to give a monetary, salaried paycheck to someone, who would you give that money to? Yeah, just something to think about. So, feeling of accomplishment. I just think it can be tough when you strip away all those layers of the ego and you just sit down and write out. That could be a good journal exercise. Write out, what do you think really is the most valuable when it comes to a human interacting with other humans and contributing to this world that we all share. And at the very top, self-fulfillment needs. Self-actualization, achieving your full potential, and then creative activities. So it's interesting because I feel like this is me right now. I feel like I have everything I need, and I'm so secure and stable in my own body, and I know my value, and I'm so valuable because I have this brain that I love to use to help people with all the school. Okay, I have this knowledge. How can I help my team? And when I help my team, it helps my patients. And it's such a beautiful thing. I'm also valuable because I have this body that gets up and goes and does some fitness in the morning. So that way I have good posture muscles. I can carry my laptop to morning rounds. I can walk my dogs and keep them safe if I need to pull them out of the street. A body that can walk up and down steps to get to my car, to get myself to work. A body that can hold the hand of my lover, that can make a man's needs be met because I have the feminine figure, the curves that God has designed a man to be so drawn to. So I have my brain, I have my body, and then I have my soul. My soul is the part that craves the connection, that craves being good to make a difference, that sees someone hurting and then comes to them later and asks how their day is going, that has its own voice, that when I'm really quiet kind of guides me toward what I'm supposed to be working on in that phase of my life. And it's really such an amazing phase. It's like I'm living the dream I've always dreamt of. And guess what? That dream that I've always dreamt of is just me. It has nothing to do with being married, how much money I'm making, having twins, none of that, which is a lot of what society teaches you. But it has everything to do with me feeling at peace and so connected in my body and seeing a vision of what my purpose is and kind of writing down those couple of things that I am so soulfully drawn to be working on, and then sharing those things. So mind, body, and then soul. And I feel like once I have those things in place and I'm so at peace and connected with my body, the only thing that's left to do, because you're in your sanctuary, you're going through your life in your sanctuary. Doesn't matter if you're at work and it's freaking crazy and you're stressed out, you're still in your sanctuary. You create that sense of I'm okay, I will be okay, no matter if I'm at work, if I'm at home, my husband's hungry and he's irritable, if someone rear-ends me, if anything happens, if you're in a pandemic, you're in your own sanctuary. You generate the feelings of I'm okay, I will always be okay, because I know how to take care of myself. And then the only thing that's left to experience after that is fun. So self-fulfillment needs also includes creative activities. So for example, I just got the Wine Folly book, I think that's what it is. And what's fun, because I'm so connected and at peace in my own body, my basic need is salad, finally, thank God, and in place. So now all that's left is hobbies and creative fun things. So I'm wanting to learn more about wine, right? So let's swirl it, smell it, swish it around in my mouth, and let's see how it can complement the meal that my fiance worked so hard to create for us. It's kind of fun. It's like artwork, but in a sophisticated, fluid way. Anyway, I feel like my video is probably getting at its max, but I found this so helpful just to kind of look at this. And so if you're up here trying to fix love, relationships, connection, I need to be connected to this person, I need to find this husband to get married and then I'll feel better, I need this house and then I'll feel better. Well, how about you get down to the foundation and work on the basic needs, learn how to nourish your body in the way that it scientifically truly has been designed to be fueled, and of course emotionally you fuel yourself too, that is a part of it. Make sure you have warmth, you feel warm and safe in your own body, and that you're resting. Don't overdo it. Work-life balance. And then move to the safety needs, security needs. Do you feel insecure in your environment, in your relationship? Well, guess what? Buck up, buttercup. You gotta provide it for yourself. Because if you keep looking outside of your body for affirmation, for a sense of security, for whatever it is, that safety blanket, you will never feel safe. Because guaranteed, humans will fail you over and over and over again. We are allowed to. We're humans. We have emotions. But what will keep you feeling most secure is you in your own body, because you every day will provide those things for yourself. So I'm curious. Maybe take some time to look at Maslow's hierarchy and see if there are some areas that you can reflect on. You can even go really deep and take yourself through prior relationships where maybe the relationships didn't work out. Were there areas of the triangle where you weren't providing those needs for yourself? You were relying on another person to provide it for you. You were attracted to someone because they acted like, or maybe they did have a lot of these already in place, and you were kind of codependent. You thought you could just absorb and learn that from them, and that would heal you, that would cure you, that would give you a sense of safety. Okay, but what happens when they no longer want you? When the relationships gets too challenging, or they get stressed out and they have a bad day. So then you're gonna feel stressed out. You're not gonna have a good day. Maybe you get abandoned, maybe you get left, maybe you have to start over again. But guarantee if you establish this in yourself, doesn't matter if the relationship ends, because you know you're valuable. And maybe you don't even need to be in a relationship. Or maybe you'll get into a relationship where they need you to be the solid rock. And to me, that's the whole part of being a human in this world, is we all have gifts that we have to discover. We get so empowered that we're solid. We have everything that we need, and then all we have left is to give back with our gifting, and everyone has different gifting, and teach others. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for listening.